Welcome to this week's edition of the Bulldog Blitz. My name is Bethany Werge, and I am your host for this first segment. While the Butler men's basketball team gets plenty of the national spotlight, there's another men's basketball team on campus which is also getting national attention. The Butler men's club team will be making their first run at a national championship in just a few weeks. Senior club player Matt Vogt is here with me today to talk about the club basketball team. Welcome.
Hi there.
Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
So before we talk about the team, I want to ask, I know you started out as a golfer. So how does that happen? I mean, you don't golf anymore, right?
Well, not for the school,
right.
No. I ended up at Butler to play varsity golf for the first 2 years here, and it was a lot of time, obviously, being a varsity athlete, and it just didn't work out for me. But then last year, two guys I play basketball with a lot, Carl Miller and Alex Pretty, they started the club basketball team, and I've always played throughout high school, and you know, we got a lot of the guys who normally play a lot of pickup ball together to join this club basketball team, and it just kind of took off.
So these are just, you just met them like at the HRC to...
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we play a lot, or the first 2 years we played a lot during the week, and just decided, well, we might as well make a team.
So was it tough for you leaving the golf team, or...?
It was, you know, I love to play golf, but as I said, it was just like just a big time commitment and really tough with class. I'm a biology major, and I don't know, it was just tough. It was tough to balance it, and it just wasn't happy, so didn't work out. But
understandable.
Yeah.
So was that why you didn't go somewhere else to play basketball? I mean,
I got some looks coming out of high school at smaller schools, D2 and D3, as did a lot of the guys on the club basketball team, I'm sure. But golf was my number one in high school, and so that's how I ended up here.
Well, now you have a new team,
Yeah.
so let's talk about that.
Yeah. Sure.
Last year, like you said, the organization, well, I don't know if you mentioned that, the organization wasn't a club yet, right? So it just became a club last year?
Yeah, well, they started the team last year, but I don't think it was an official club sport. I think you need like a kind of an entry period with the school. So that meant we didn't get, you know, I don't think we got any sort of funding from the school. And obviously we kind of still had the training wheels on. But this year we played a lot more games already, and kind of got in the swing of things, and it kind of took off this year. We've got a lot more guys participating more actively in things.
Yeah, I heard you guys had, what, like 70 or something try out, and you have 15 on the team?
Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot more people this year than last, and I think now our roster's at about 18.
Oh, wow.
17 or 18.
Now, is that an A team and a B team, or you just have one squad?
We had an A and a B last year, and we found that it was, you know, people have schedules and they have things to do sometimes on the weekends. So we found that just by combining everybody into one team, we could be more competitive and be in more tournaments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So then also last year, when you weren't a club yet, did you guys work out together like a team, or did you kind of just, I mean, I know when I played at the Y, it was kind of like you just go and play. Like, did you just show up and play, or did you actually train together and kind of work as a unit?
Last year we had practice usually 2 days a week. You know, we would reserve the gym, the HRC, and yeah, we did things basically the same last year as we do this year, except that we weren't like officially recognized as a club by the school. But we still played in a bunch of club tournaments. We don't really, you know, we don't have like a workout regimen, like lifting or anything. But yeah, our practices, we take them pretty seriously, just like a normal basketball team. Probably don't practice as much as the varsity team, but
yeah, hopefully, otherwise you're back to playing golf. Right?
Yeah, seriously. Nor are we as good as them, but yeah,
well, you're certainly on your way, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a sec. So what was your, just personally, what was your kind of forte last year, like your strong suit? How do you think you contributed most to the team?
Well, I think I'm the tallest guy on the team, or one of them, so
that
I'm
helps.
usually holding down the paint. I play center or the 5 position, as we sometimes call it, and I think one of our strong points as a team is we've played so much basketball together over the last 4 years, especially guys like myself, Carl, you know, the older guys, that we really know each other's tendencies. So we mesh together really well on the court, and I think that's one of the things, not just an individual strong suit, but that our team has, is that you know, we're so used to playing with each other, we're able to feel out where everyone's going to be on the court and know where everyone's going to be, and I think that's what makes us pretty good. Yeah.
That helps, right? So you're a senior this year. So let's fast forward to this year. I know that last fall you were, all tournament team at one of the tournaments, and you were MVP. How do you think you've grown just over the course of a year?
Well, yeah, in the fall we won a tournament at Southern Illinois, Carbondale's campus, which was in the middle of nowhere. But there were a lot of great teams there, believe it or not. And yeah, I managed to make the all-tournament team en route to winning the tournament as well. I think over the past, since the beginning of the club, we've all started to take basketball a lot more seriously. We always played a lot, but now we kind of, if we see a weakness in each other's games or something, like, if someone needs to make free throws or maybe get in the gym a little bit so they don't get pushed around, we're not afraid to work on those things because, these tournaments are competitive.
Right.
And I think we kind of push each other and make each other better in that regard. So
you have some key wins over teams like, let's see, I know IU, right, and Mizzou, and a couple of the Illinois teams. You beat them, so you're 25-2 now. Yeah. That's what I was saying. You're kind of, that's a really good record, of course. But your last tournament ended in a loss to Howard, right? So what happened there? Can you take me through that game a little bit? And
this last tournament we were at was at Oakland University up in Michigan, and we rolled through the first day. We went 3-0, and we have 25 wins, but there's some teams at these tournaments who are just kind of glorified intramural teams. So that might be inflated a little bit. We have been playing well, but just being honest. But yeah, so we played really well the first day and got the top seed for the tournament on Sunday, and then ran into Howard, and they are they were in the, I think, the national finals last year. They lost to I believe it was Ivy Tech.
They went on to win, right?
Yeah, correct. Ivy Tech's Indianapolis team was very good last year. But so this Howard team, they're super athletic, just played really, really hard. And we had the lead, and throughout the first half, maybe not playing our best. It was kind of a sloppy game. And then in the second half, things just got kind of out of control. A lot of guys lost their cool, myself included.
At least you recognize that, right?
Yeah, and we just, it was just a really good game. I mean, hard fought. In the second half, I think we didn't make free throws, and that's one thing they definitely did, is when we fouled at the end in a close game. I think they went probably like 8 for 8 or 10 for 10 in the last couple minutes to seal it off, and we lost by 3, I believe.
Ugh,
so
tough loss.
It kind of stunk because it was a regional qualifier for the national tournament, and if we had won that, they give you like an entrance fee. They pay for your entrance fee, which is kind of a couple $100.
Yeah. And
they give you a travel stipend as well. So
nice.
It hurt a little bit, but.
And then especially not being a club yet, or back then, that would have obviously.
Well, we have limited funding, and so we use that to pay for hotels to go to some of these tournaments. Like up in Oakland and in Southern Illinois, and so we have a limited amount of funds to get clothing,
stuff.
Everything. Yeah. So, the money would have been nice to win that tournament.
Yeah. So did you, before it was you just had to pay for everything yourself? All the gear, all the traveling, all that stuff was.
We have, I think it's like maybe $50 dues at the beginning of the season to pay for like uniforms or shorts and stuff. But last year we didn't play nearly as many tournaments because we were kind of, not quite off the ground yet. So, so this year's been a lot easier to go to tournaments with some help from the school.
Well, it's a good time to get it together, right? Last year.
Yeah.
This weekend you play Ivy Tech. So what is your mindset going into that? I mean, it's probably a little daunting, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's exciting at the same time, I'm sure.
And last year we played them, I think it was maybe 5 times, because they're nearby, and they actually they're about to move up to, I think it's NAIA, their classification.
Oh.
Yeah. So they actually like recruit for their basketball team. They have a coach, and we have student coaches.
Right.
But yeah, they're like a great program, if you will, and we played them 5 times last year and lost every time. But then we met them at the IU tournament, which we won a couple weeks ago, and we beat them pretty good this year. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of fight back from that. They definitely lost a few players from their team last year that went to the national championship. But I think our mindset going to these games is just, especially after this last tournament, not losing our cool. playing together as a team.
Yeah.
Because when we do that, and if we have, you know, all the pieces in place, we're pretty tough to stop against some of these club teams.
Yeah, well, 6 times the charm, right? It
Yeah,
seems a little
6 or
unfair that they
7,
have
yeah.
coaches, though, and they can, I mean,
Yeah.
but whatever, you know. So what are you focusing on most to prepare for the national tournament in April?
Yeah, well, the national tournament is at NC State, and none of us have ever been there, so we're just kind of clueless. But I think something we'll be focusing on is just kind of getting back into the swing of things. You know, after this tournament that we just lost at Oakland, we've got a couple guys who are banged up with injuries, just little things, nothing too major. But we've been kind of taking it easy for a couple weeks. But now, probably after spring break, we'll really hit it hard, probably 2 or 3 days a week, and just work on playing together as a team and getting back to team basketball.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
It is.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Matt, and good luck to the men's club team as they represent Butler in the National Club Championship Tournament. I'm Bethany Werge, and this has been segment 1 of the Bulldog Blitz.
The first A-10 basketball tournament for Butler men's and women's teams is just a couple of weeks away. If you want to go, we've got information about tickets. I'm Matt Reinsmith.
And I'm Marissa Johnson. One of the reasons that the women's basketball team has a winning record this season is a group of guys called the Gray Squad. We will introduce you to those players later in this segment.
But first, an Atlantic 10 Conference champion in men's basketball will be crowned in less than a month. The conference tournament is March 14th through the 17th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The official deadline for all session tickets has passed. However, Butler's manager of fan development and tickets says there are still a few options available for fans wanting to make the trip.
If they contact me within the next day or so, we could probably take care of them. People can buy single session tickets through the Barclays Center, and that's actually been on sale for a while now. They won't be in necessarily the same block that our tickets are in, but that is available for anybody.
Tickets can be bought for as low as $32 for a single session and $45 for the championship game.
The Butler women's basketball team is also gearing up for the final stretch of their season. Butler is in the top half of the Atlantic 10 with just a couple of games left. The last home game will be against Temple, and that will be senior day. The last road game is in Pittsburgh against Duquesne. The Atlantic 10 postseason tournament starts in early March. One of the reasons why the women's basketball team is doing so well this season is because they practice against a team known as the Gray Squad. The Gray Squad is a group of male students who scrimmage against the Lady Bulldogs.
We're basically the scout team, and we run everything the other team does so that the girls understand it more. The things they see from the Gray Squad, they see in the game, and we might even be maybe a little bit quicker or stronger than a lot of the girls out there. We just make them better. We play hard defense. Coaches will tell us different ways to play defense on them, and then we'll go offensively against them so that they have to run defense against us. And we know when to get serious. We know when to joke around, and we just have a good time with it, and we're pretty much a family here.
Butler men's tennis team is at home this week. The Bulldogs recently beat Dayton. Sophomore Billy Weldon continues to be dominant for Butler in singles. The team of Weldon and sophomore Austin Waldmo narrowly lost their #1 doubles match to the Flyers. The Bulldogs captured wins in 5 singles matches and 1 doubles match. The win was Butler's 5th of the season. Their next match is in the Butler Bubble against Northern Illinois. The Butler Bubble is one of several athletics facilities on campus. A campaign to fix up many of these structures is underway. Let's take a look at which of those buildings or athletic fields are getting makeovers. Several Butler University athletic facilities have seen major renovations or improvements in the past few years. The Butler Bowl, home to the Butler football team and men's and women's soccer teams, was updated in 2010. The Bowl now seats more than 5,000 fans and boasts a $1.5 million press box. Additionally, an artificial playing surface has been added, something Assistant Athletic Director Carl Heck said has been very important for all sports.
It's great not only for our men's and women's soccer programs and football, but also our softball and baseball teams are able to use the turf for hitting and for catch.
The Davie Athletic Complex, located just north of Hinkle Fieldhouse, has seen the majority of the improvements. A new track has been installed, replacing a much older one. Associate Athletic Director Mike Freeman said a new track was a high priority for the athletic department.
In terms of when you look at priority lists and what is the most pressing thing that we need to adjust or enhance, the track was pretty high on the list.
A new hitting facility was also added, and it is used by many sports, Heck said.
And a couple years ago, we built the indoor hitting facility, which helps our baseball, softball, and golf teams indoor.
The improvements recently made to Bulldog Park are a result of fundraising and donations from alumni. Freeman said he was impressed with the way the team spearheaded the effort.
They bulldogged it. They went after it and found a lot of new money to get the project done. It was a really good effort.
The improvements made to the softball field were made by Coach Scott Hall himself. Freeman said having a coach take that kind of initiative is valuable.
It's really neat, and I think it's a little bit rare.
With all the improvements made, work will continue on Hinkle Fieldhouse. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Matt Rhinesmith.
Butler's head coach for strength and conditioning is recovering from colon cancer. Jim Peel is not in need of chemotherapy, but athletes and alumni are coming together to support the coach on his road to recovery. All around campus, people are wearing Peel Strong wristbands to support the coach. Former football player Peter Zander took it upon himself to create the wristbands. Senior football player Sean Grady is selling the bands for $5 apiece. All proceeds will go to the charity of Peel's choice. Athletes also created a Facebook page as a way to show their support. All of the support on campus gives everyone a reason to stay Peel Strong.
It is not unusual for college graduates to come back to their alma mater for a career. Butler Athletics features a slew of graduates in various positions. Colin Likas takes a look at how these men and women ended up staying at their one-time temporary home.
At first, they were at Butler University to study.
A College of Education major.
Media arts and TCOM.
Radio, television.
Chemistry.
Telecommunication arts.
But these 5 individuals stayed at Butler to become
Vice President of Athletics.
Head men's tennis coach.
And the Director of Corporate Partnership and the Manager of Television Radio.
An assistant on the women's soccer staff.
Manager of fan development.
18 Butler graduates have carved out careers in the school's athletics program. Each one has a different story for how they landed back on the campus they used to call home.
I had talked to the head coach here, Terry St. John. She offered me this position that I am in right now because she had it open on her staff.
A 2010 grad, Call majored in chemistry but says her love for the game trumped everything else. Matt Harris, a 2002 grad, says working with the women's basketball team in college helped him earn a spot in Hinkle Fieldhouse.
I did get to know a lot of the staff in the athletic department. I just got to know a little bit of how the department works.
Working for Butler had always been on 1986 grad Joe Gentry's radar, but the opportunity he termed his dream job did not open up until 20 years after his commencement.
As a high school senior, I fell in love with the place, and for me to come back 20 years later, I had that same feeling when I came on campus.
2006 grad Parker Ross played tennis at Butler for 2 seasons, but he never imagined holding the job he does today.
If you would have told me after I graduated that you were going to become the men's head tennis coach in 5 to 6 years, I would have said you're crazy.
Vice President of Athletics and 1976 grad Barry Collier best describes why these men and women remain Bulldogs in the workplace.
It feels like home to me, and I'm very confident I can continue to help, and that is something I hope to do.
For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Colin Likas.
That is it for this week's edition of the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Matt Rhinesmith.
And I'm Marissa Johnson. Have a great week, Bulldog fans.